Pierre Poilievre was a strong minister in my government.
Former Prime Minister Stephen Harper has just endorsed Pierre Poilievre. Let's take a look at Mr. Stephen Harper's book and compare it to what Mr. Pierre Poilievre has been saying on the political circuit.
You know, every time the Prime Minister comes on television, it's either to insult the people or talk about how horrible it is and why he needs more power and control to run our lives.
Populists are not ignorant and misguided deplorables. They are our family, friends, and neighbors. The populists are, by definition, the people. Many liberals are wedded to the belief that those who disagree with them are fools and bigots.
This is why the gatekeepers are panicking about my campaign, because they know that I'm bringing the real world to government. No more of this situation where there are two classes of people: those who go out in the real world and work hard and pay the bills and follow rules, and then those who cause misery for everyone else and get bonuses. That ends when I'm Prime Minister.
Globalization has been very successful for many of the world's people, but not so much for many of our own. Incomes of working people have stagnated or even declined over the past quarter century.
There is nothing special about politicians. I'm not here to take power. I'm here to give it back. I'm not here to run your life. I'm here to let you run your own life. You have the God-given abilities to do that. That's your purpose.
Since 1988, the World Economic Forum has hosted an annual meeting in Davos, attracting corporate, political, and non-governmental leaders from all around the world. Davos is a remarkable event. It is, however, a bit disturbing. In recent years, Davos has taken on an atmosphere of elitism that would be hard to surpass. Many of its attendees seem to view themselves as some kind of supreme world council.
The single mom that works over there at that McDonald's, she's not worried about bonuses. She's worried about the fact that she actually has to pour water in her children's milk because she can't afford groceries after the inflation, the just inflation. She's paying the price for the fact that the head of the Bank of Canada decided that he would be Justin Trudeau's personal ATM machine, printing cash so Trudeau could spend it, rather than doing his real job, which is to keep the value of our money.
This world of globalization is not working for many of our own people. We can pretend that this is a false perception, but it is not. We can keep trying to convince people that they misunderstand their own lives, or we can try to understand what they are saying. I'm pro-trade, but trade is complicated. It has winners and losers. From conservative think tanks to the liberal crowd at Davos, many have lost this understanding. How did we get to the point where economic and political elites became more committed to trade principles than to trade outcomes? How did the actual impacts on working and middle-class people become irrelevant? Some have said that the solution to the failures of globalization in their lives was more free trade, more open borders, and a government focused on the rest of the world. Many are not buying it.
The people want that sense of hope that brought 300,000 immigrants every single year to this country, that inspires our young people to believe that anything is possible if you work hard. That's what my parents taught me.
I was struck throughout my political career by how conservative in character most immigrants are. They bring the family values and faith lessons of their older societies to the opportunities of a new world. They come to join and contribute. The liberal left sees immigrants as separate from the wider society, victims of its overwhelming bigotry and unprepared to integrate. All this reflects the left-wing worldview, their dislike of our society and desire to fracture it, and their obsession to tear it down and rebuild from scratch. Illegal immigration is unfair to those who obey the law. Security is a core responsibility of any government, and it must outrank any other economic, social, or humanitarian considerations in an era of global jihadism. Economic criteria must be paramount, and never disregarded or overridden. It should be obvious that when economic and technological forces are creating severe pressures on low-skilled workers, the influx of large quantities of such labor is not in the public interest. These are the ways immigration can become a flashpoint. The responsibility of governments is to avoid these pitfalls by developing immigration programs the public will support. If that's not done, it is policymakers, not average citizens, who should be blamed for the backlash.
He's far away, and often I think he forgets about the people who live here.
It is easy for the more affluent to think about immigration policy in the abstract. They're not usually the ones directly affected. They're not the workers whose jobs or wages come under pressure. They're also unlikely to be touched by the criminal side of illegal immigration. Some choose to dismiss all immigration concerns as just racism or bigotry. More likely, they are based on real-world experiences.
I am a Canadian, a free Canadian, free to speak without fear, free to stand for what I think right, free to oppose what I believe wrong, free to worship God in my own way, free to choose those who shall govern my country.
It's clear to me that Mr. Pierre Poilievre is speaking the language of populism, echoing Mr. Harper's policy and ideas in his book, voicing the concerns of regular Canadians. I have little faith in any politician, but I do like his words. What do you think? Let me know, please, in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And a big hail freedom. Hail, brethren. My name is Rohan Kumar Paul. I live in Ottawa with my wife, mother, and 5 children. If you like this content and you think it'll help get the word out and make a difference, then please share it out. I have a comic book company, and that's where the name War Campaign comes from. Media has become degenerate. Films, movies, comics no longer stand for heroic ideals. We decided to do something about it and created the Vestige and Bullet Maker series. We say, hail freedom, for a reason, because the world needs a little more honor, accountability, integrity, and loyalty. Hail, brethren, and hail freedom!